Hello and welcome to Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella, and while there might be a lot of drama going around with the Patriots off the field, there is a lot we need to get to on the field, and that is because the NFL draft is coming up. We need to see what these players are doing in their last combines, last visits, last workouts, who the Patriots are talking to, and what spots they need to lock in to make sure they are improving on. We bring you some big names on today's episode, but before we get into it, just a huge thank you to our subscribers. And if you haven't yet, go down and hit that subscribe button so you can get the latest information on your favorite team brought to your device each and every single day. And throw us that like and go back and check out all the old episodes after today's, and especially a big one as we are talking about a position that we hit on yesterday and we dive further into now. And with the NFL draft starting to creep closer and closer, we're hearing rumors that the 2026 draft may be the most draft day trade heavy draft in quite some time. A lot of teams are interested in either using their surplus, and that's what the Patriots have, to be able to move up and down and around the board, and several teams that don't have picks right now. There are four that have just five picks in this draft looking to get in at certain spots. So expect the Patriots to be very busy throughout the 3 day draft. And while we can prognosticate what they will do at pick 31, I think there's several scenarios here that could see them move out. If Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama, is still there, expect the Cardinals to be big players, the Jets as well, to move into that spot. The Jets would absolutely have to give up an arm and a leg to do that because you're not going to let them get a quarterback in your own division. But the Cardinals, I think, would make a ton of sense. Again, if Ty Simpson is still there. And for the Patriots, if there's somebody else that, wants to come up into that spot, and we've seen it many, many times throughout the early 2000s of making that move. But again, I think this comes down to best available as well. As long as there's a guy you think is at the top of that board, needs to be, you take him. But if the Godfather offer comes in, you also let that go as well. Finalizing that the Patriots are tied for the league high 8 day 3 picks, and will definitely be using those assets to move up and down and maneuver that board, so they can really get exactly the type of individual that they see as linking into this one culture fit scheme, and just bringing talent overall. New England holds 2 4th rounders, 1 5th, 4 6th, and a 7th. So again, just being able to do a lot of different things here is important. And another note when it comes to the draft that is important as well, because when we get to that Thursday night in just 3 short weeks, it's going to move quickly because there used to be 10 minutes in between each of these picks. It is being truncated to just 8 minutes now. So teams will need to get their business done quickly, and then make their picks and move on to the next thing. But where the Patriots will move and what we talked about yesterday is the tight end position. And I thought, after kind of looking at what they could do at that, second, third, fourth round, you know, the players that could be available, Eli Stowers is getting a ton of pub. And if you want more information on him, go back and check out yesterday's episode, for an even more in-depth look. But I think if the Patriots stay at 31 and you're saying take the best available, and Kenyon Sadiq is still there, who on consensus boards is sitting around the 17 to 20 overall ranking mark, he really could be the play. He's comparable to what the Browns had with Harold Fannin last year. And he really is now a big time school Harold Fannin. Sadiq is listed at 6'3", 241. He's probably a little bit lighter than that, as well as closer to 6'2". But he is just such a fluid player, and someone that, the tape and the traits make him a near perfect prospect. And if he were, say, 2 to 3 inches taller, we'd be talking about him in the top 10 overall picks and more in that Colston Loveland range. The frame, again, a little bit smaller for a first rounder, which is why he could slide back. But, 1.62 yards route run isn't necessarily eye popping, but Tyler Warren was 2.7 and Colston Loveland 2.67 last year. Um, they went top 15. This is why you could see Sadiq, who is maybe a little more twitchy and could profile better for that pass catching role, slide back down to one. I kept it from including him yesterday because I see a lot of mock drafts pushing him towards this 20 range, but there are scenarios where Sadiq could fall. And if the Patriots decide, yes, we actually want to go best available, and he's still sitting there at 31, even if the Cardinals make the call and Simpson's on the board, you might really think about, you know what? We do want the draft assets that would come from making a trade, but if a guy like Kenyon Sadiq is there at 31, I think it absolutely should be the play to make sure that you are prioritizing getting Drake May as many weapons as possible. Additionally, another tight end that we quickly referenced the other day, but I thought deserves a chance to get back into, is Oscar Delp. And out of Georgia, you've been playing with the big boys. And at 6'5", 245 pounds, he is a little bit bigger and more of that prototype tight end mold. He should come off the board in the top 100 picks, and wouldn't be surprised if he starts creeping up towards that top 75. So then you're really starting to look at second and third round picks that you'll have to give up. Profiles is more of Sam Laporta from the Detroit Lions, but it's betting on his athletic upside and more of the receiving production at the pro level here. He's an elite athlete, and I think that's the two things that really push these guys up and give you more out of that position. Hunter Henry is, a rough and tumble guy. He's got sure hands, but the dynamism from an athlete perspective perhaps isn't there as much. And I think that's something that has been missing for the Patriots for quite some time. And when I say raw athlete, when you look at his raw athletic score, he's running a 9.8, would post as a 9.83 with 4.4 speed. Like, that's insane coming out of a tight end. Explosiveness, whether it's on the seam, crossers, and as a ball carrier, this guy really can do it all. He really utilizes that speed and trying to get to the second level where then he can use his strength to get past them as well. Again, the playmaking's there, maybe got overshadowed at times at Georgia where there's just a ton of options. And he does have toughness to block at the point of attack, but the athleticism does shine there too. Again, it's shown flashes, maybe not as consistent, which, again, if Sadiq is off the board at that point, at 31, and you're looking back, Delp really could be that guy, but you're going to say we have to invest. Could the Patriots say we want to invest at other spots and then go back to tight end later? That's where you'll see some of the names we mentioned yesterday. But Delp really could cross a lot of the boxes that you're looking for. And if you're able to keep your first and go somewhere else, defensive tackle, edge, wide receiver, allows you to almost double up and be able to do that if you have faith that you can go back and get Delp. Again, high-end flashes of elite tight end prospect, but only had 70 career catches over 4 collegiate seasons. It's the strict counting numbers when it gets down to it that is going to push his draft stock down, because he didn't produce as much because he just wasn't needed because of the success of those Georgia teams and the players around him. 20 catches for 248 yards last year. It's tough to say what that profiles at the next level, and it's not unheard of for the tight end position because it is used so differently in college, because you just don't see it as much. You're going to use bubble screens to wide receivers and try and get your running backs in space. The tight ends are really used more for blocking unless you become a focal point of that offense, which is what Eli Stowers did, and Kenyon Sadiq to a certain extent as well. So while Oscar Delp does not have the same numbers, his testing is almost better than everybody else. And I think a very interesting gamble for the Patriots should they get to that point and feel comfortable about making a move like that. And finally, we'll step away from the draft to talk about the Patriots Hall of Fame. And this is an interesting problem for the New England Patriots because you have three finalists now in Rob Gronkowski, Logan Mankins, and Adam Vinatieri, three of the greatest Patriots of this past dynasty that really should be put in yesterday. Like these guys deserve to be there. There's a fan vote for just one of these guys. I think it would just be fantastic to hear the Hall of Fame speech for each and every one of them. I think it's kind of obvious when you have a fan vote. Gronk, Mankins, and Vinatieri, who are you going to vote for? It's going to be Gronk. I think the social media age, it's just going to push there, and it's going to be fantastic to see Gronk back, go through all of that, get his red jacket. I think, close of anyone deserving a statue next to Brady, perhaps outside Belichick, which, again, outside factors at play. And right now in New England, we're finding out plenty of that with Vrabel, but what Belichick's got going on, Gronk deserves a statue as well. Just such a dynamic player and added such a wrinkle to this offense, and really became, one of Brady's most trusted advisors, if you will, at least as it comes to receiving passes. Um, and it's just continuing this celebration. And I love what the Patriots, really what Rob Kraft has done, to continue to reflect on the old while celebrate the new. You had it last year, with Brady and the unveiling, and you know making sure you bring back the old guard, whether it be Ty Law or Vince Wilfork, now Gronk and Mankins and Vinatieri and Edelman, having these guys around, keeping this culture of success while also allowing the coaching staff to cultivate the players that they have in. You've already shown that, they can do it with a roster that was put together quickly, to be very honest, and now having their guys being able to add this free agent class and now the very, very key NFL draft class coming up, because you knocked it out of the park last year. The odds of doing it 2 years in a row are stacked against you, but this team has seemingly done everything right on the field so far. Hopefully, they continue to make those decisions coming up. And because of that, we'll continue to keep the magnifying glass on all of those things, what the options are for them, where they're going to go with these things. There's a lot of roster ads that need to move. There's going to be free agent signings, there's going to be trades, and there's going to be a lot of action from the draft. And we are excited to have it all for you here on Pat's Lace. So, again, if you haven't yet, go down and hit that subscribe button. Get in the comments. Let us know who you want to see. I love the comment the other day of someone saying the Patriots are putting together a team like the Avengers, just picking up great free agents left and right, and hopefully you see that continue on this path. So again, throw your comments in there. If you have questions, we can answer them right here on the show. And go back and check out yesterday's episode and all the other ones. See where Eli Stowers stacks up against guys like Sadiq and Delp, and let us know who you think the Patriots should be after. Thanks for joining us as always as we continue to bring it right here for you. Fight on, Foxborough.